Welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at the upgraded version of one of Fenix's best-selling flashlights. This is the PD36R version 2. Let's check it out. And this is everything the Fenix PD36R version 2 comes with. Just give you a close-up of the box here. Lumens and runtime information on the back. Comes with a very skinny nylon holster. Not a big fan of these, so let's move on. A USB Type A to Type C charging cable. In this bag is a lanyard that's adjustable and a spare rubber O-ring. Some more Fenix products, warranty card, and of course, the user manual. But let's throw all this off to the side. I'll give you guys a nice close-up of the PD36R version 2. I never did a review on the PD36R, but I did do a review on the Fenix PD36 TAC right here, and the PD36R Pro. So if you guys missed that, I'll put those links down below in my description box. But I'll give you a comparison between the PD36R Pro, which is right here, and the version 2, which is right here. So I have these all the way on the ground, and the PD36R Pro is about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch longer. The head diameter looks to be almost exactly the same. And just for the heck of it, the PD36 TAC, which is right here, and man, it's very, very close in length. But the PD36R version 2 is just slightly longer. I would say a 1/16 of an inch. And once again, the head diameter looks to be almost exact. But let's get back to the PD36R version 2 right here. It has a maximum lumen output of 1700 lumens, a max throw of 396 meters, and a max intensity of 39,240 candela. A max runtime on eco of 482 hours. And let's check out the battery that's pushing everything out here. So this battery is a Fenix branded 3.6 volt, 21700, 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now you can't charge this on the battery, but it can be charged via the USB Type C charging port right here near the head. Or if you have an external slot charger, you can also charge this battery that way. I'll give you a look at the head right here. You can see there is no spring near the terminals right here, but near the tail, there is a spring. And if I shine this light down in there, maybe I can, there you go. You can see it is a single spring system, only near the tail, nothing near the head. So of course, I'd like to see a double spring system just to prevent any unwanted lighting interruptions if the flashlight gets jolted, but it's still nice to see at least one here. All right, let's move on. It has 5 brightness levels plus a strobe, and it does support a memory feature. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on when I go over the UI. But those 5 brightness levels and strobe are controlled with dual switches, a tail switch right here for on and off, and a side switch right here to control the modes. And that is a metal side switch right there, very, very common in Fenix flashlights. And right dead center of that side switch is a boot up battery life indicator that lasts for about 4 to 5 seconds and then goes out. You saw the light was green, so I'm near 100%. I just charged it right before doing this video. Now I'll try to give you guys a shot right down the barrel there at that single Luminus SFT40. Has a lifespan of about 50,000 hours, and the color temperature is right around 6,500, so it's a cool white beam. Now you're either gonna love that cool white or hate it based on how you're using this flashlight. For me, I would EDC this flashlight, so I would really prefer a more neutral white. I like cool white beams in my tactical flashlights, but that's not to say you couldn't use this as a tactical style flashlight. It just doesn't have many tactical style features, so that's why I'd say it's more of an EDC flashlight. The body style here is a typical Fenix style body with a 6061 T6 aluminum body and a Type 3 hard anodized finish. You can also see it does come with a 2-way split ring removable pocket clip right there. It is not deep carry. You can see there's about 3/4 of an inch to the end of that tail, and it is lens down only. And I talked about the metal side switch right here, but I sort of glanced over this rubberized tail switch. Fenix usually has very nice, high quality rubberized tail switches. If I give you a close up there, you can see it is textured, so my thumb has a lot of grip while it's on there, and it is very clicky. Hear that? So I think both switches feel very nice. The rubberized tail switch right here and the metal side switch. The metal side switch isn't clicky at all, but it doesn't feel too squishy either. There is a little bit of a click to it, but you can't hear it. And when I first saw these 2 tabs right here with the attachment points, I got a little bit excited because I figured with the 2 tabs, you can tail stand it. But as you can see, that tail switch sticks up just a little bit too far. So unfortunately, you cannot tail stand the PD36R version 2, which is unfortunate because that would have scored a lot of points in my book. But even with the PD36R Pro and the PD36 TAC, you couldn't tail stand these either. I know a lot of you guys look at a tail stand as an afterthought, but for me, it is very, very important in any light that I carry. When I'm working overnights in a truck and it's very dark, I like to tail stand my light so it bounces off the ceiling and spreads the light around. It's great. But with a flashlight like this, I couldn't necessarily do that unless I leaned it against a box like this, which really isn't ideal. All right, so let's round out these features here. It has an IP rating of 68, which means it's completely dustproof, and the 8 means it's submersible in up to 6 feet of water, and it has a 1 meter impact resistance. So now let's talk about the lumens and runtime. So you can see the 5 brightness levels right here: Eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. Eco is 5 lumens, low is 50. Medium, the sweet spot, is right there at 350. I love that. High is 800, and turbo is 1700 lumens. And it also has a 1700 lumen strobe without any runtime information right there at all. Not really sure why they don't give us a runtime on strobe, but they do give us runtimes on everything else. And you can see the max runtime right there on Eco, 482 hours, which is decent. I'd love to see a 1 lumen moonlight mode, but 5 lumens, it's fine. And rounding out these brightness levels, I think the mode spacing is pretty good: 550, 350, 800, and 1700. It's not bad. And let's go back to medium. That's what I consider the sweet spot. 350 lumens, a 7-hour and 45-minute runtime, a distance of 177 meters, which is great, and 7,809 candela. So the sweet spot on this flashlight at medium is very, very nice. So with the modes, there's nothing really to complain about. I mean, there is no SOS or beacon, which that could turn a lot of people off. And now let's check out turbo: 1700 lumens, a runtime of 3 hours and 30 minutes. There's that asterisk. So of course, we're not going to get 3 hours and 30 minutes of turbo in this flashlight. So I'll be doing a heat and turbo test a little bit later on in this video. That runtime with the asterisk is usually the total time with all the step downs until the battery is dead. All right, now let's talk about the size and the weight. So the length is 5.54 inches, the head diameter is 1.04 inches, and the body is exactly 1 inch. And it weighs about 5.89 ounces, which is about 167 grams. And yes, I did weigh it with the battery in it. Now let's go over the UI here. It's a very common UI in this flashlight. Almost every single Fenix flashlight has this UI in it. That is if you have the dual switches, tail and side switch. The tail switch activates the flashlight on and off. If you half press, it's momentary on. Full press, constant on. And while the flashlight is on, all you had to do is single press the mode switch to cycle through those modes. There's Eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. And to activate strobe, press and hold that tail switch right there. There is your strobe that has alternating frequencies. And now I'll demonstrate memory. So if you have it on Eco, turn it off, turn it back on, goes right back to Eco. Let's test out turbo. There's turbo, turn it off, turn it right back on, goes right back to turbo. So technically that is sort of a tactical feature because it does have instant access to turbo, but it doesn't have instant access to strobe. If I press and hold the side switch when it's off, nothing. And if I turn on strobe, turn it off, turn it back on, doesn't memorize strobe. So in my opinion, that sort of kills it for being a tactical style flashlight. No instant access to strobe. Also, no button press lockout. If you want to lock out this flashlight, just give the head about a quarter turn, locks out the flashlight. Now it's time for my not so scientific heat and turbo test. Here I let the flashlight run for about 2 minutes, then I take its temperature at the head and the body after 1 minute, and then after 2 minutes. So after 1 minute on turbo, the head was right around 117 degrees Fahrenheit and the body was 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Body, not that bad at all. Even 117, it's a little bit warm, but not enough to need gloves or anything like that. But after 2 minutes, the flashlight rose at the head to about 130 degrees Fahrenheit and the body was around 103 degrees Fahrenheit. So 103 degrees Fahrenheit at the body, still very manageable. Even that 130 at the head is getting there, but I don't believe you're gonna need gloves if you use this flashlight on turbo for about 2 minutes. Now regarding the turbo step down, of course, I was recording the heat signatures while I was running this test. So in the edit, I'll have to look and see exactly when that step down happened. So I'll put on the screen right now when it started to step down and when it ended that step down. All right, let's do the beam test. It's a little bit windy out here and Got my dead cat on the microphone, so hopefully it's not that bad. So let's start on Eco. Not going to spend too much time on Eco. Let's go right to low, 50 lumens. Let's see if those deer are over here. I have a family of deer that live right there at the edge of those shrubs. And don't see them. We'd see all those eyes staring back. But sort of kissing the barn already. I'll put up a distance between me and that barn right there and me and that broken tree right there, thanks to that last storm we had. So 50 lumen low, pretty decent. You guys start to see what that beam profile is going to look like. Medium, 350 lumens. I call this my sweet spot because most of the time I'm either on medium or high, but the medium here looks decent. You guys can see that crispy perimeter right there. Very nice. And this has a very small, tight hotspot. So hopefully you guys can already tell what type of beam perimeter, or sorry, the beam profile you're going to get with the PD36R version 2. Easily hitting that barn over there. Now let's go to high. There we go. Check that out. So once again, it's not a very floody flashlight, and that perimeter is pretty crisp. Look at that. Very crisp outer perimeter. And it almost looks like there's two levels to that hotspot. You can see a very intense hotspot in the middle, and then another smaller one around that perimeter, which is pretty good. I like that. Let's go to turbo. There it is, full 1700 lumens. Let's just scan across the field. Boom. Even hitting those trees beyond that barn right there. Very nice. That's 6500 Kelvin color temperature. Like I said, I don't mind it. I like them in my tack lights. EDC, I like the neutral white. I just do. Represent colors a little bit more accurately with a neutral white than a cool white. But you guys get the idea here. I'm going to move on to the next location. Let's go. So honestly, there's a lot to like about the PD36R version 2. A decent output at 1700 lumens, a decent throw at 396 meters. And as you guys saw, the beam profile is decent. If you like a small, tight hotspot with a crispy perimeter, this is going to be the light for you. The 6500 Kelvin color temperature for me is a negative, especially because I'm considering this an everyday carry flashlight. I sort of wish Fenix would offer it in both a neutral white and cool white, but what are you gonna do? And another negative for me is the inability to tail stand this. You have these two tabs right here. Either suck the button in a little bit or make these tabs a little bit longer so I can tail stand it. But basically, those are my only two negatives of this flashlight. Everything else I am a fan of. Very simple UI with the tail switch and the side switch. USB Type-C, 18-watt fast charging. The aluminum body feels high quality. The tail switch and the side switch feels high quality. I mean, typical Fenix stuff here. They're definitely not reinventing the wheel here. They just took a popular flashlight that they had and just upgraded it. So $99.95 for the PD36R version 2. I sort of put this right around the $80 to $85 range. And don't ask me where I pulled that number from. It's just the first number that popped into my head looking at this flashlight and looking at the specs. But regardless, it's still a very decent flashlight and I can absolutely recommend it. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the Fenix PD36R version 2? Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will have links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And go!